30-year-old Canadian musician Devin Townsend has been described as many things: mad scientist of music, tortured madman, and musical genius. So Planet Buzz went straight to the source to find out who Devin Townsend really is.
I'm a little insecure. I hide a lot of personal issues behind lots of work, and I'm 6'1". I have brown eyes. I've got 2 dogs, 2 cats, and a bunch of stick bugs.
We hail from that place up north, you guys would have, Canada, that's where we're from.
Devin Townsend is the singer, guitarist, and main songwriter of Strapping Young Lad. Together with Jed Simon, Byron Stroud, and Gene Hoglan, Strapping Young Lad have released 3 of the heaviest albums of the past decade. In addition to Strapping Young Lad, he's worked with people such as Frontline Assembly, The Wild Hearts, Jason Newsted of Metallica, and many more. But Devin can actually thank guitar hero and former David Lee Roth guitarist Steve Vai for his career break. So how did Devin hook up with Steve Vai?
When I was 19, I sent off a demo tape to Relativity Records, and they signed me to a solo record deal, but at the same time they had passed the tape on to Steve, and I flew out to meet him, and he asked me to sing on the record, and so I did. I sang on records on Sex and Religion, and we toured consecutively for that for a year or so and hit quite a few places. Well, it was a good experience, you know. It was like I was really young, so I was pretty impressionable, and I think what really helped me was the fact that I got a view of the music industry from a certain age that was a lot more realistic. You know what I mean? Like I was pretty naive coming out of Vancouver. I was like, okay, well, you know, I'm 19 years old. I'll move down to LA and we'll be rock stars and all that. And as it turned out, we moved down to LA, and it was very difficult and very, you know, taxing. So the Strapping Young Lad end of things, which is one of my current bands, sort of came from that experience, that kind of nihilism that I felt after being, you know, exposed to what the record industry really is like. You know what I mean? It's as a result of that, my wife and I, we started a record label to facilitate putting out my own stuff, and we licensed it to different companies around the world, and we managed to sort of bypass a lot of the industry BS just by sort of having that insight into it at an earlier age.
With his own record label, Heavy Debbie Records, Devin has released 4 solo CDs and several live discs. How has he managed to find success where so many are failing?
Just perseverance, I guess. Just anytime someone told me I was a freak and a geek and going to be a failure and all that stuff, I just put my head down and make another record, you know. And it's like, I think after a certain amount of time, if you can consistently put out product that has got quality to it, it doesn't necessarily have to be consistent. And when I say that, I mean it doesn't have to be like one thing over and over again. But the consistency that's important is the quality of it, right? And it's, you know, I'm on my 11th record or something like that, and not just of my own stuff, right? So that being said, it's like I've got that career coming in from different angles in terms of my solo stuff being distributed through different labels. Century Media takes care of strapping. Plus I do production, like I produce bands, and I've got a production company and a merchandise company and all sorts of things. So it's feasible to make a living, to do what you want to do, but it requires a lot of work and the internet and all sorts of compromise.
2003 marks a busy year for Devin. Not only is he releasing a new Strapping Young Lad CD, but he's also got a solo disc coming out at the same time.
To release the new Strapping, I felt like it would be kind of unfair just to have the Strapping end of the fan base satiated, you know what I mean? Because neither of these records really push my envelope too much. They're just kind of like, yeah, I want a heavy metal record, I want a hard rock record, so they're there. But in order to do one, I felt obliged to do the other one, just so I wouldn't let down whatever fan base I'd sort of garnered with the solo stuff.
Over the years, live shows of Devin Townsend have been known for their unpredictability.
Well, the records are immortal to me. That's what I think will last, and shows aren't. Shows are just shows. You know what I mean? Like, touring's a pain in the ass most of the time, and so most of the time when we're on stage, it's kind of like, well, I'm going to entertain myself because I'm bored out of my brain.
So what is Devin's philosophy for the future?
I just don't care. I really don't care, and as a result of that, I'll do whatever I want. And it hasn't stopped me yet, and it won't stop me from here on out. And, you know, people are always going to bitch and complain, but most of the time those are the same people that are working at the restaurant. You know what I mean? There's like, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, cool, dude, cool. Have a nice life. Have a nice 3 kids and, you know, a rancher house out in the middle of nowhere life, man. You know what I mean? Because it ain't for me. And I'm doing good and I'm having a good career, right?